Josie's on a vacation far away. Come around and talk it over. So many things that I wanna say. You know I like my girls a little bit older. I just wanna use your love.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Jake Mangum Show, powered by Farm Bureau Insurance. We got a great show lined up for you today with special guest Brent Rooker, 2017 Triple Crown winner in the SEC, the best baseball conference in the country. Prove me wrong. But first, a quick word from our sponsors, Fuse.Cloud and, of course, Farm Bureau Insurance.
In insurance, it's our job to handle storms. And though coronavirus is a storm different than most, the agents, adjusters, and employees at Farm Bureau Insurance stand ready to extend a hand, love our neighbors, and work earnestly to serve our customers and communities. Our mission hasn't changed, so our work does not stop. If you need us, call your local agent, use the claims hotline, or visit us online. Be safe, stay healthy, keep Mississippi strong, and go with the home team.
Fuse.Cloud. The dot, it means internet and support that won't let you down at O.30. It means a smart, seamless way of reaching customers. The dot means a bringing together, a focal point, a fusing of smart, handy services in the cloud through Fuse.it that work together to prevent pesky issues, glitches, crashes, from happening. Fuse.Cloud. The dot means a lot.
Welcome back to the Jake Mangum Show, here with Brent Rooker, 2017 Triple Crown winner on many people's all MSU baseball team in the history of the program, which is Elite Company. Rook, thank you for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, man, happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, I want to talk to you first about, we all know what you did at Mississippi State and what you've done in pro ball so far, but take us to your days of being a multi-sport star at ECS in Germantown, Tennessee. What made you pick baseball over the other sports? Because you are a big guy and you would have been able to play college basketball, college football easily.
Yeah, if you kind of look at my whole high school journey, up until the time when Lane Burroughs called me from Mississippi State, which would have been, midway through my junior season, I guess, junior baseball season, that is, I had gotten significantly more recruiting interest to play football than I had for baseball. I kind of developed late as a baseball player in high school. I was good freshman, sophomore year, put up numbers and did okay. But from a physical standpoint, I kind of grew late. I kind of filled out late. So it wasn't really until my junior year, midway through, that Coach Burroughs was, called, and Mississippi State was kind of the first big school to show me interest and to extend an offer to me. So up until that point, it had been a majority football recruiting, majority football visits, things like that. So, that was kind of the direction that I thought I was going to go until Coach Burroughs called, and went on a visit to Mississippi State, and kind of fell in love. And like you said, I could have played football in college, but it would have been a smaller kind of D1 program probably that I would have needed to go to be able to contribute and compete. So when the opportunity to play in the SEC came up, I decided baseball is probably the way to go. And then, like I said, went on a visit to state, fell in love with it immediately, obviously, just because of the atmosphere. It's so much different than anywhere else that I had seen college baseball wise. And, that's what it kind of sold me on it. And I committed shortly thereafter, probably 2-3 weeks, maybe a month after. I went on a visit, went back down, sat down at Coach Cohen's office and committed, was excited about it.
Yeah, and you get there your first year, and just talk about your journey in college, because you kind of had a unique journey. Whenever you look back at it and you think, okay, this is one of the greatest single season anyone in the history of baseball has put up at the highest amateur level, and you had a different journey with that. You did redshirt, and I tell people all the time, like the people ask, like, should I go somewhere that risks redshirting? I'm like, yeah, one of the best hitters I've ever played with redshirted. And that is a unique thing whenever you look at your story. Because you look at your body of work and you probably think there's no way this got redshirted. Immediately came on campus and was hitting. What's your tell the younger players out there that it's okay to redshirt? I tell them all the time. And from your side of it, what's your take?
Yeah, for sure. From a development standpoint, that was probably the biggest year for me in terms of, I got to get there. I got to get in the college weightlifting program consistently. I put on 20 pounds. I got bigger. I got faster. I got stronger. And I was able to hang around in the dugout a lot during games with guys who had a lot of success at the SEC level, kind of pick their brain, learn as much as I could, take those ideas, get in the cage, and just hit every day, work as much as I really wanted to, without any, game restrictions. So it was a huge benefit to me. And, people always ask, like, especially people I meet later on in my career, why you redshirt? Like, was there just like, what happened? It's a weird thing for you to do to go there redshirt. The reality of the matter is I wasn't very good when I got on campus. I wasn't ready to contribute. I wasn't ready to compete at that high of a level, and I needed to take a year to kind of develop physically and mentally, and in a baseball skill aspect too. So it was a huge year for me developmentally, both physically and then just kind of being able to be around that atmosphere, be around that environment without having the pressures to perform was huge. Because like I said, I got to sit in the dugout and just watch and learn a ton from like I said, guys who had a lot of success at that level, kind of seeing how they went about their at-bats, how they went about their business day to day, and kind of what it took to get to the point that I wanted to be at. So it was a huge year for me developmentally. It was probably the year that I made the most strides and was able to learn the most. And when I had my end of fall meeting that year, like everybody does, Coach Cohen kind of laid it out for me. He was like, you think you should redshirt this spring. And so when you learn that early, that's what you're going to do, you have the option to maybe go somewhere else, maybe go to a JUCO and play right away and kind of see where that takes you. But for me, I knew what I wanted to do was be at Mississippi State. I knew what I wanted to do was get to a point where I could contribute and could compete at that level. So that's the decision I made, was to hang around, to take the red shirt, and to learn why I wasn't good enough and to learn what I needed to do to become good enough. So it was a year that I always look back on as one of the biggest years for me from a baseball development perspective.
Yeah, and what you and I have in common in the high school days is that we've talked about this before. To all the parents out there that have kids that are going through the baseball, lifestyle and trying to play as far as they can, Rooker and I have one thing in common, in fact, that our end goal was to go to a awesome SEC program, start a couple years, and hang them up. And now we find ourselves in pro ball, and that's just something that we've said, okay, maybe we can try another level. So you and I being able to go to college and succeed at that level, and it's just like that next step. And you and one other baseball player have been the two most unique players in the fact that y'all learn relentlessly. Like, y'all study what's going on. And the other one was Kurt McCarty from Southern Miss. I played with him and you two guys are the two guys that stood out the most, that even while the game's going on, you're breaking down a pitcher, just seeing if you can tip pitches. I know for you study people's swings. We've talked about Josh Donaldson's swings, how you break his swings down, but what he does is just so unique, and he's just somebody that's hard to mimic. So as to being a student of the game, those years of your red shirt, your young days in college, and the days you kind of took off in high school, what's your take on the student side of the baseball game for all the young baseball players out there that like baseball and want to try it for another level? Yeah,
I mean, I play with however many X number of guys throughout college, and now even more into pro ball guys at different stages of their career, and you kind of learn that everybody's a little bit different when it comes to how much information they want, whether it be a scouting report or use of technology or whatever. And there's guys who have a ton of success who don't use anything, who don't want scouting reports. They just want to go be a natural. They want to hit. They don't want information. They don't want to break their swing down on video. They don't want to use any of the technology, the Rapsodos, the TrackMans, whatever. They don't want any of that stuff, and they have a ton of success. That's not really my MO. I like to gather as much info as I can from scouting reports, from swing breakdown, from video use, from technology. I like to kind of get everything that I possibly can, because there's a lot of guys who are more physically talented than I am, that I'm trying to compete against, and I'm trying to beat, and I'm trying to be better than. They have more physical ability, they have more physical talent. But if I can out-prepare and out-learn those guys, it makes the playing field pretty level, and it gives me an opportunity to get to the level that I want to be at. So that's kind of how I look at it. Is, I've got to find something where I have an advantage, and where I have an advantage is I have the ability to kind of think through a lot of things and kind of break things down and use analytics to my advantage, and that allows me to compete. It allows me to beat out. It allows me to outperform a lot of guys who have more physical ability and more physical talent than I have.
Yeah, and you just hear guys around the league in college and pro ball. Like Pete Alonso came on the show last week. He was talking about Jeff McNeil's success last year, all-star for the Mets. Jeff, on days that he was rolling in the first half, I heard he would get to the field and not hit pregame. His first swing would be live in the game to lead off, and he'd give first pitch backside base hit. Everyone's different, and it's so there's no playbook to dads out there that are listening with their kids. There's no playbook. Everyone's different, and how you coach each player is different. How Rooker was coached at Mississippi State compared to me was completely different. And it's really cool to hear all these different stories. 2016, my freshman year, you and I were finally teammates, got to know each other a lot better. I was that nagging freshman in the fall that picked everyone's brains, asked too many questions. I got the game of encyclopedia for my Christmas gag gift so I could quit asking questions. So I'm there, and I'm like, okay, this Rooker guy, he can hit. So I start breaking down your stuff, and I realize I can't hit like you. You do things that I can't do. So the 2016 season, at what point did you realize like you can take the next step from being a good college player to a great one? Because I saw you turn the page that year into what you became your 2017 season Triple Crown winner. I saw you take that step from being a good college hitter into a guy that, hey, he's going to play baseball for a long time.
Yeah, the 2016 year was fun because it was the first year that I kind of got to play pretty much every day, that I got to show up to the field knowing I was going to be in the lineup, and I was going to get a chance to contribute and help us win a game that day. And I had a pretty good year. I put up some good numbers, had some success, but throughout that entire season, I kind of knew and I kind of felt going through the year like there's more. I have more ability. Like I could be better than I am right now. There's a few things that I'm trying to figure out that I haven't figured out yet. That I know when those things do click, I'm going to take a big step and I'm going to become an even better player. And it's just difficult. Especially in the college season, it's very difficult to make big adjustments in season because college ball is so focused on like do whatever you have to do to win this game right now. Where you get into pro ball, it's easier to make adjustments and make changes in season because okay, I've got 600 at bats here. If I take 3 games and don't really perform that well, but it gets me rolling for the next 60 games, that's well worth it. And in college, it's not the case. You can't take 3 games and not be at your best in order to make a change. You've got to do what you've got to do to help the team win that night, and that's kind of how the environment and the atmosphere is different. But so throughout that 2016 year, I kind of felt like there's a few things I need to do to make some changes in my swing. There's a few adjustments I need to make that are going to pay huge dividends. I just can't do them right now because we're in the middle of trying to win the SEC. We're in the middle of trying to make a deep postseason run, and I have to continue to do what I'm doing right now, continue to have success to help us win. I can't risk going down for a week, going down for 2 weeks in order to be better in the future. That's just not what the college season is built for. So we had that year. Like I said, I had a pretty good year, put up good numbers, was able to help us win some games. And then going into the Cape, that summer was kind of when I started to address some of the things I wanted to. Swing-wise, it's when I started to some of the things I learned, started trying to implement them. Did so in the Cape a little bit, and then did it even more the following fall, and then over winter break, and into the spring scrimmages before the 2017 season started, is when I kind of started to figure out, get the feels, what I wanted to feel, what I wanted my swing to be, the changes I wanted to make, and I was able to kind of implement them and tweak my swing in a way that I wanted to. And the scrimmages really, between Christmas break and the season starting in 2017 was when it really started to click for me. Those 10 to 12, whatever games that we play right before the season started is when it started to click. And I was able to take those adjustments, take that momentum rolling into the season, and just continue to have some success with it. I'm still trying to build on it. I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't think anybody in baseball is going to tell you they have the swing or they have hitting completely figured out, because it's such a complex move and such a complex task that we have to do. So I'm still trying to learn. But, that was kind of the process of me figuring out, okay, I have more ability in me that I'm showing right now. I just need to figure out what I need to do to get that ability out, kind of learning what those things were, and then kind of having a drawn-out plan and drawn-out timeline to kind of implement them and try to make those changes.
Now, I know it was very complex for you, and a lot went into it. Like you said, the swing, the moves in a swing it's one of the hardest things to do in sports. Hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports. Now, the thing that jumped off to me whenever I saw you make that jump, it was the fact that you were able to lay off a curveball in the dirt. The 2 years I played with you, that was the biggest thing for me. It was like, okay, he's spitting on that now. And now he's swinging at the ones that are hung up in the zone, and he's blasting it, and he's attacking the fastball. How were you, right before we cut to commercial break, how were you able to learn to lay off a curveball in the dirt? Because you see so many high school kids just hacking at curveballs in the dirt, and I did in college. How are you able to learn that and see that? Was it a visual thing or something you learned through it?
I think pitch recognition, and I think ability to zone in your zone and lay off pitches that are out of the zone is a lot more physical than people realize. Everyone kind of assumes it's just eyes and vision and being able to recognize and pick up spin, but a lot of it is putting your body in the correct position to be able to stop your swing. I'd find myself sometimes, and I still do this because we're all still working, but you recognize break a ball, you recognize it's going to be a ball, but your body's in a position where you just physically can't stop your swing. So you have to kind of continue through and you take the strike, because you can't hit it, but you're also too late in the process, too late in the sequence to be able to shut it down. So you've got to swing no matter what. And a lot of that is the ability to not do that is putting your body in the correct positions through how you store up energy, how you attack the ground, all this complex stuff, to be able to put yourself in a position to stop your swing as late as possible without chasing that pitch. So a lot of people just kind of assume, like I said, that it's all visual, it's all mental, it's all being able to recognize spin immediately out of the hand. But a lot of times, even if you do that, you still can't stop your swing, you still end up chasing it. So it's more physical than people think it is, being able to stop your swing and be able to lay off pitches. And that comes from doing things properly early on and putting your body in the correct position to be able to stop and lay off.
With Brent Rooker, Minnesota Twin, baseball player, outfield, infield, wherever they have him at the time. We'll be right back after this commercial.
Fate screams. You cannot withstand the storm. The warrior replies, I am the storm. It's not the weapon, but the warrior.
We are Fuse.cloud. The dot, it means real, on-the-spot support, security that keeps your data safe and sound. The business services and IT you need focused together beautifully. Fuse.cloud. The dot means a lot.
We're back with Brent Rooker, Mississippi State alumnus, 2017 Triple Crown winner. One of only two people to ever accomplish that. Rook, take us back to the year. The Triple Crown year, just unbelievable. Being able to witness that from the dugout and in the locker room with you, that was one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of in baseball. Every time you came into the plate, it was either a double or a home run, it felt like. And everyone in the ballpark knew that. You saw that jump to become that elite of a hitter, through the 2016 season, in the Cape that summer, in the fall, and right before the season started in the scrimmages. I remember calling my dad fall of 2016. our fall, and I told him, hey, Rooker's about to put up numbers that are just unheard of. Did I think you were going to win a Triple Crown? No. But I knew you were about to have like a 20 to 25 home run season, mid 300s, something stupid, and you did. And what was it like, man? Because not many people get to experience that. Only one other person. So just what's it like to experience that?
I mean, it was obviously a lot of fun. Baseball's fun when you're hitting well, and when you're hitting well over an extended period of time, it becomes a lot of fun. There were, like every season, there were times when, I had some dips. I didn't perform like I wanted to, but I was able to kind of maintain a level of consistency throughout the year that, allowed me to put up those numbers. And, the team we had was a huge part of that. We had a really good locker room chemistry. We had really good guys around me. That, one, kept things light and kept our team playing hard. And, with the team around you is playing hard and having success, it makes it easier for you to have individual success. And then had a lot of guys in front of me who were on base that kind of allowed me, you don't get however many RBI if there aren't guys on base between you and Stovey and Grid and other guys on that team who are on base all the time, allowing me to drive and run. So a lot of baseball, a lot of the numbers you put up, I mean, yeah, it's on you how you perform, but the team and everybody around you has a lot more impact on how you do than people realize.
Right, and this people forget how great of a year Ryan Gridley and Cody Brown had. Those two
Cody
guys.
Too is another guy who had Cody had the best year of his career. The last year he was unbelievable, especially the second half of the season and the postseason. He played unbelievable.
I'll tell everyone that's just Mississippi State fans in general. I tell everyone that Cody Brown is the most underrated Mississippi State baseball player I think I know, and just what he was like in the locker room for us, and then what he did that 2017 season. Whenever we were hurt, man, think about all the Tommy Johns we had on the mound and how many broken hands we had between me, Stovey, and LA. We had 3 broken hands in the lineup at once. We had me, Stovey, and LA all have broke hands, and yet we still found ways to win, like consistently. And that a lot to do with you, Gridley, Cody, and other guys. But
huge. He probably played. He played all 3 outfield positions that year. He probably played second. I know he played third. He played third in the regional and maybe the super regional too. But yeah, he was all over the field, and he was just kind of the epitome of what a good college baseball player is. He showed up every day. He grinded. He was one of the best teammates I had every single year he was on the team. He brought infectious kind of energy into the clubhouse and on the field, and he was awesome to be around all the time.
He did, man. And just looking back, I learned a lot from him through those 2 years I played with him. It was awesome. But on a personal level with you, did you ever leave the baseball field and just think, I'm having a monster year like this? And I know as a baseball player you're superstitious. You hate saying things like that. But did you ever find yourself thinking, look yourself in the mirror and be like, I don't even realize what I'm doing right now? Because it was that type of performance on a daily basis.
Yeah, I mean, it happened. After the 3 home run game against Kentucky, it was kind of just I don't know what's happening right now. It was just kind of this, not out of body experience, but it was I don't know how I'm doing this. I'm not this good, and I just kind of, things continue to happen for me, and I don't really know why. But yeah, I mean, you try not to focus on that, obviously, because like I said, we were trying to win games. We were trying to, we started off slow that year, and we got hot, and there was a real chance, the last 3 or 4 conference series of the year, that we had a chance to win the league. So we were focused on that, just trying to win games and not really think about anything individual. But yeah, you have those moments every now and then where it's just I don't know what's happening. I don't know how I'm doing this, but I'm just going to kind of keep showing up in the field and hope it continues.
Yeah, you saw on Twitter the past couple of days, the 3 home run game kind of fluctuated again. I remember after your second home run that game, you're amped, walking back in the dugout, and you literally scream, I don't know how I'm doing this. And then you go back up there, and you hit your 3rd home run, and it just – that's a baseball game I'll never forget. That's when you look back whenever I'm 80 years old, and I think, yeah, I was there for that. I witnessed that, and everyone in the ballpark can say that too. And you know what else was unique that year? The coaching changes, man. You and I both went through that Cohen to Canizero. And right now at Mississippi State, there's kind of a new era taking place at our alma mater. With Vic Schaefer leaving, with Mike Leach now on the football staff or being the head football coach. What's your message? Because I know I kind of have what I have to say to the players that are there now and the fans. What's your message to the fan base that's having to experience this new change with coaches? Because you and I went through that firsthand.
Yeah, it's weird for me looking at the baseball program, and not one coach that I played for is still there. The only person still there is Coach Cohen. He's obviously the AD. So he's still there, but everybody else I played for 4 years has moved on to another school or in another place with another job. So, but throughout all those changes, the players and the family surrounding Mississippi State athletics is always going to be there. The environment, the culture is always going to be there. You can replace players with the cultures, or replace coaches, but the culture that's been built by guys who played there in the past is always going to remain. It's always going to be an elite level program. So, which means you're always going to get elite level coaches, and elite level players. So that's the thing you have to remember even through these changes. And I think the staff they have there right now I think Coach Lamonis, obviously they're doing a fantastic job when they've got the program headed in the right direction. The last 2 years, going to the College World Series, they had another really good team this year. Unfortunately, obviously that ended, but they've got the program going in a direction that is going to continue to be on the rise and continue to be a powerhouse, for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and Mississippi State's always been a powerhouse. We've always been a premier baseball program, but the thing you see different now is that they're cranking out top 5 recruiting classes. We've never done that. If you look back in the past, we've won with good recruiting classes, but now it's elite, and it's really cool to see that change. After the 2017 season, you obviously left. You weren't going to come back after a year like that. You go from a non-drafted high school guy, a guy that's not really in the talks of draft, and up until that year, and you find yourself in the first round. I was at the draft party. I remember it was at a little speakeasy in Starkville. It was a really cool spot. The guest room, I remember. Take us through that, man. Like, not many people can also say that they're first round draft picks. So at what point did you realize, like, hey, I could be called on the first day of the draft?
Honestly, it wasn't like, so the draft was on a Monday, right? We had our Super Saturday, Sunday.
Heartbreaker.
Done on Sunday. So the draft was that Monday night. I really didn't know until I talked to my agent Saturday night before the draft on Monday, and we had the conversation like, here's what we're looking at, here's what we think is going to happen, here's the teams who are in play with these picks. And that was the first time, honestly, that I had kind of realized that the first round was in play. I had figured probably second round at some point. But that Saturday night, we had a conversation. He was like, look, anywhere starting at pick probably mid-20s, you're kind of in play for a lot of teams. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Other than that, it just depends on how things fall. So that was the first time I kind of realized that, okay, first round's like a legitimate possibility here, so this could happen. So that was pretty cool. And then obviously when the Twins took me, it was awesome because they had drafted me in 2016 as well. So I had a pretty good. I knew a lot of guys in that scouting department was very comfortable with some of the higher ups in their amateur scouting. I met with them at the Cape. They drafted me late in 2016, and they had come to the Cape, sent a few guys up there. We sat down and met to talk about my signability, if there was any chance that I did go back to school. And there wasn't really. I was kind of selling going back to school because, like I talked about, I knew there was another level that I could get to and that I wanted to get to before I left college. So it was a huge blessing the Twins were able to give me again, though, just because that level of confidence, familiarity I had with some of the scouting department. But that was a fun night, draft night. We had all the guys out there kind of hanging out, and it was fun.
Yeah, and for me also, I was able to get drafted by the same team twice. The Mets took me my junior year and senior year. And does it mean a lot? Probably not, but from a personal standpoint for you and I know there is a level of like comfort there whenever you're like, okay, they actually really want me. Like they're not going to waste 2 picks on someone they don't want back-to-back years. And you find yourself in the first round. You're leaving Mississippi State. right before commercial break, take us through that first short season, because that's the only thing I've experienced in pro ball is that first short season, which, by the way, everybody listening, it's an adjustment. SEC baseball, very difficult, but it is another jump to get to pro ball, and at least for me it was. Rook, take us through that short season 2017 year.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a culture shock because you go from, my last game in college was at LSU. It was in a super regional. There's 14,000 people there, and then my first game in pro ball was in Elizabethton, Tennessee, and there's like 37 people in the stands. So it's definitely different. It's a culture shock. It takes an adjustment period to get used to playing every single day. The Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, and then 2 days off is no longer a thing. There's a game every single day. So I went to Elizabethton in short season ball for about 3 weeks, played pretty well. From there, went to Fort Myers in high A for the last month and a half. I played 40, 45 games there probably. Had a pretty good first half season, honestly. I was able to carry some momentum from the college season into the pro ball season, and had a pretty good year. Like you said, there's this whole notion when you're in college that like the SEC is like the equivalent to AA or something, and it's just patently false. Like you get there and you get into I got to Fort Myers in high A, and the first 3 games I was like, okay, this is wildly different than anything I saw in college. They're bringing out guys out of the bullpen in the 6th, 7th inning, and they're all throwing 100. Like, this isn't the thing in college ball. Every team, obviously, in the SEC has your Friday guys who are first-round picks. They stack up against everybody that you're going to see up to that point. But the depth of pitching staffs at that point, especially bullpens, is wildly different. So, it's like you said, it's an adjustment period. Every level is an adjustment period. From single A to double A is an adjustment period. From double A to triple A is another adjustment period. So each level you continue to go up. Obviously, the competition improves. The level of guys you're playing against improves, and it takes learning, and it takes making adjustments to have success at the next level when you move up.
Yeah, and everyone you talk to does have different stories because, for example, if you hit 200 in your short season and you hit 400 in low A, just an example, people are going to be like, yeah, short season was really hard, but the full season low A was easy.
Yeah, for sure.
And you've like Adam Frazier's a guy that comes to mind. He had a below average short season, but then he moves up and he finds all this success, and he was like, yeah, short season's harder than full season.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. But I know for a fact everyone always told me, yeah, pro ball, SEC is going to be like double A. Man, I've found that to be extremely false.
Yeah, it's just not true.
When you play Florida and Vanderbilt, you're going to have your 98s out of the pen, which is horrible to face. But in pro ball, man, you better be hitting that second inning to 5th inning, that starting pitcher that's late in the inning or late in his start. Because that bullpen, man, they come in throwing flames. That's the biggest change.
Ton of velo. The guys at that level that don't have the velo are at that level for another reason. Whether it's just pitchability, secondary stuff,
or straight
there's a reason everybody's there. And the level of competition is different than college, and you learn that pretty quickly once you get to pro ball.
It is, and you're holding a wood bat compared to a metal bat. We'll be right back after these word from our sponsors and finish up with Brent Rooker.
In insurance, it's our job to handle storms. And though coronavirus is a storm different than most, the agents, adjusters, and employees at Farm Bureau Insurance stand ready to extend a hand, love our neighbors, and work earnestly to serve our customers and communities. Our mission hasn't changed, so our work does not stop. If you need us, call your local agent, use the claims hotline, or visit us online. Be safe, stay healthy, keep Mississippi strong, and go with the home team.
We're back with Brent Rooker. We finished up the last segment talking about his days in the minor leagues at High A, which is Fort Myers, Florida for the Minnesota Twins, not too far from High A for the Mets in St. Lucie. You find yourself in Double A and Triple A, which is if you can hit at those two levels, you considered to be able to hit in the big leagues. I guess I haven't been there yet, but that is the jump everyone says is the hardest to make. Would you say that's true, the AA, AAA ranges, that level of talent jumps?
I think the jump from high A to AA is the biggest that you'll see as far as just strictly ability and talent in guys on the field. I think that was you go from AA to AAA, and it's very similar talent. It's just kind of more refined. The guys, half the pitchers you see in AAA are guys with big league time or who are bouncing back and forth between big leagues and AAA. And then AA, it's a lot, just as far as ability goes, it's a lot of guys with a ton of raw talent. So I think that high A to AA is the biggest jump that I've seen in pro ball so far, between those two levels. And like I said earlier, both jumps takes an adjustment period. Both times my first month in AA, I struggled, and then I kind of figured some things out, and I had success the rest of the year. I ended up having a pretty good year. My first month in AAA, I struggled. Again, I learned some stuff, made some adjustments, was able to take off and have a good remainder of my season as well. So that's kind of the whole MO of pro ball. Is every level is going to take a little bit to get used to. It's going to take a little bit of an adjustment period, but if you continue to learn, continue to keep in perspective that, okay, I've got 600 at-bats this season. If I have to take 30 or 40 to figure some things out, that's fine, because that's going to pay dividends down the road. So keeping the right mindset, keeping the right perspective is huge for having success over periods of time that are that extended.
Yeah, it's a game of failure. And if you're not positive in baseball and you're not able to take criticism or failing well, you're in the wrong sport. And everyone knows that, especially the older you get. Big league camp. We all know how close you are to punching your ticket on the big league team. Everyone knows that. Big league camp. Well, what was that like to walk in there and be around those guys every day? And I guarantee you found yourself saying, "Hey, I belong here. Like, this isn't somewhere that I don't belong. I belong in this environment, in this setting." What was it like for you?
Yeah, it's awesome. We're extremely blessed with the Twins, our big league group, and our guys that are on that team as far as the culture and the environment, the welcoming aspect of it to younger guys. All our veterans do a really good job with that. So it's a very, very comfortable environment to be in as a younger guy, without big league time. You kind of walk in and you want to kind of stay out of everybody's way. Obviously, the guys who are there, Nelson Cruz, Josh Donaldson, Byron Buxton, Max Kepler, these guys who have their big league time, who are established as big league players. You kind of want to stay out of their way, let them go about their work, but that allows you to kind of sit back and watch them and then learn from them and learn what they do. And that's kind of the 2018 when I was in Major League camp. That's kind of the mindset I have, is just kind of, okay, sit back, stay out of everybody's way, don't ask questions, and just got to learn from afar, learn quietly. And then 2019, your second time in camp, you're a little more comfortable. You know some of the guys, you develop relationships with them. You can kind of walk in, be a little bit more proactive with your work, while still making sure you're not in the way of any 10-year vets that need to get their work in. Be a little bit more proactive with what you need to do. And you can have my mindset change from 2018, just kind of learn, get comfortable with 2019, walk in, compete, and try to prove and try to, both to myself and the people around me, that I'm ready to compete and ready to contribute at the big league level. So it's just, from one year to another, your mindset changes a little bit, your attitude going into camp changes. But like I said, the environment that our coaching staff with the Twins and our players and our veterans have created in that locker room is a special one, and it allows younger guys to go in, to learn, to be comfortable, to be themselves, in order to improve and to become a better player. Yeah,
and that's kind of what I saw. I wasn't at big league camp, don't get me wrong, but I was able to go up and play a couple games with them, 5 this spring. Man, I feel you there. I remember my first day up there, I was so trying to stay out of the way of Robinson Cano, Pete Alonso. I was trying to give those guys hey, this is y'all. Y'all take care of it. I'm just going to sit back and watch and learn some things. Now, I did ask him a lot of questions because you know me, that's kind of what I do, and I was picking their brains with everything.
For sure.
Yeah, and it just being in that environment, man, being around guys that have success, you learn so much, and just things that work for you and don't work for you, honestly. Things that Cano does in BP are things that I would never do. And something else that you've done in pro ball that is just unbelievable is your time at USA. You went on the road and played other countries and represented our great country. What was that experience like? Because that's something I've never been a part of.
Yeah, that was awesome. We went to Mexico. We were in Mexico for like a week and a half. We played 3 games there. Then we went from Mexico, we did well enough there. We went to Tokyo. We were in Tokyo for almost 2 weeks, played 5 more games. And that was, obviously, just the ability to go to those places was super cool. And then to be able to play baseball there was even cooler. Compete against a bunch of countries, get a lot of life experiences and baseball experiences that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. The team we had, the group of guys, was awesome to be around. It was a lot of fun. So a lot of guys who were kind of in diverse points of their career. We had 3 20-year-olds who were, super prospects who are going to be coming up these next few years.
Was Noah Song one of them? Was Noah Song one of them?
Noah was one of them.
I faced him.
Noah was on that team. Joe Adell, Drew Waters, Xavier Edwards, these guys who were top 100 prospects who are going to be the big leagues for a long time. And then we had guys like Eric Kratz, who's 39 years old, who's been in pro ball for 20 years now. And who's kind of was the dad of our team, the veteran leader. So we had a really cool group of guys, really good dynamic, and that experience, obviously, to wear USA and to compete for the country was once in a lifetime kind of thing.
Yeah, Noah Song, I saw he played with you over there, and I faced him in the championship series in the New York Penn League while I was with Brooklyn last year, and he was the #1 senior out of our draft class. Me and him were like the 1-2 seniors in the draft prospects, and he was always ahead of me. And I was like, man, I'd love to face that guy, and I regret saying that. I faced him, and it was.
I don't know what his situation is with Navy and all that, with whether he got his waiver cleared or whatever he had to go through, but he might have the best stuff that I've ever seen from a pitcher, and I mean that. He was. 7-9 with a fastball, with a huge curveball, a changeup that fell from the sky, and a nasty slider. Like, he went every game he pitched. He pitched a game in Mexico, and he pitched, I think, 2 games in Japan, and he was basically unhittable. So just from pure, raw stuff, he might have the best that I've seen. He was super impressive. He was really fun to watch.
Yeah, man. It was he was with the Lowell Spinners, the Red Sox short season team. That was miserable to face him. That was one of those at-bats. I finished the at-bat. I walk over to Antoine, who's on deck, and I was like, hey, man, that's miserable. That's all I could say. I was like, good luck. And I'm sure you've had those at-bats when you face somebody who's like, hey, man, what's he got? You're just like, hey, I don't know. Good luck. I don't know what to tell you right now because it's that good.
That guy's that fun.
Knock it out. Just go up there and put the ball in the ball.
Yep.
All right, so... Man, you're so close to punching your ticket on the big league team. And I know that last year could have been your year. You finished up last year with a little injury, right? Your thumb?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really tough timing because as a minor leaguer that's so up in the levels as Rooker is, those late September call-ups are how a lot of guys get their first big league time. So you breaking your thumb kind of put a halt on that. What was that like mentally for you? As just a standpoint of hey, I'm so close, and then you get this setback. What's going through your head?
Yeah, it was, obviously it's frustrating, but, things happen out of your control. And I was performing well in AAA. I think I probably would have gotten a shot at some point in August or September had I been healthy, but I wasn't. That's just kind of, that's how things work. You find silver linings in everything, and one of the ones I take from it is had I been called up at the end of last year, I wouldn't have been eligible to play for Team USA and go through the cool thing that I was able to do. So you take these things, you take, circumstances, bad things that happen, you try to find silver linings to them, and, like I said, things out of your control. But it was frustrating, but at the same time, in AAA, I kind of proved myself that I was ready to compete at the big league level. I think I am, and it's just about opportunity now for me. Whenever the team has a need, to be able to be ready to go up and fill in, and then obviously hope to perform well enough to prove myself and stay up there. But that's one of the reasons I was looking forward to this year, and obviously we hope this season happens. But I think that if I continue on the path that I'm on, I continue to work, continue to develop, that I'll be there hopefully, fairly soon, whenever the time comes, and whenever that time does come, I hope that I can step in and be ready and kind of establish myself and prove myself that I'm ready to be there.
Yeah, and this is in a lot of people's opinion, this is your year, man. And whenever that does start up, the 2020 season, and this just flashed across my laptop app, actually. They're in the works now. The new rumor is that in 2020 they might do away with the American and National League. They might just make it a full league and have no National American League. So it might just be whoever has the best record, and you seed them 1 through however many teams they do the playoffs. So
wow.
this,
they're obviously they're working on it. They're going to need to get creative with some things and to make it happen and make it work. But I'm excited about the possibilities. So it'll be interesting. But like I said, hopefully we get the season in and we're able to bring some normalcy back to everyday life. Yeah,
and President Trump actually said, I think yesterday on his task force briefing, he said America needs sports. It's America's stress relief. It's America's way to escape what's going on in the real world.
Sure.
After a long work week, Friday night you go to the ball game, grab your beer, grab you some snacks, and it's kind of people's way to escape things like that. And the sooner we get sports back, the sooner the America kind of goes back to normal. The world goes back to normal even. And how have you been spending your time with all this going on, by the way? Like, what you've been passing your time with this coronavirus pandemic?
Just obviously do what you can workout wise, stay in shape, stay ready. Besides that, reading a little bit, Netflix, whatever shows you can find on, doing the same thing as everybody else.
To everybody out there, Rook has one of the best Twitter accounts I follow. He's top 3 Twitter accounts I follow. You'll have to follow him. Coach Co, I'm on the phone with Coach Co about 2 weeks ago, and he actually said it best. He goes, my whole entire family follows Rooker because you literally never know what he's going to tweet. Like, it could be from something as random as what's going on with pollen to an episode of The Wire to you name it. Great Twitter account. Please be sure to follow him. He's one of the best accounts I follow.
I appreciate that. Put a lot of work into it.
Yeah, a lot of work into it. Man, I can't wait to have you make it to the big leagues. It's going to be fun to watch you and somebody that I call a dear friend make it and see them succeed. I can't wait to hear the story of where you are, of how you make it and how you're told. Before we go, spend these last couple minutes of your advice to parents of kids that are pursuing baseball. Baseball in the state of Mississippi has always been great. And in the South even, really all over the country. But Mississippi loves their college baseball. They love it. And to the kids out there that are playing high school, that are about to take that next step to college and maybe even pro ball out of high school, what's your message to them?
Yeah, speaking to younger kids and parents of younger kids, it's just important to keep things in perspective, I think. That's what my dad did a really good job of. It's what I'm very thankful for, is he emphasized the fact that baseball was important, but the only reason it was important is because it was what I was choosing to do and spend my time on. It's not, baseball isn't important because it's inherently important. It's important if that's what you choose to spend your time on and to work at. Whatever that had been for me that I would have chosen, my parents, my mom, my dad would have instilled that kind of same outlook. This is very important because it's what you're choosing to do and it's what you like and it's what you're choosing to spend your time and work at, and whether that's music, whether it's art, whether it's sports, to kind of make sure that you understand that sports aren't important unless your kid views them as important, unless your kid, that's what he wants to do, that's what he or she wants to spend their time on it and work at, and that's what makes them important, and that's what keeps kind of things in perspective for me. It's what, like I said, my dad, my mom, and my dad, both my parents did a phenomenal job of with me, and it's what allowed me to never get burnt out, to continue to want to work and pursue things, long after youth sports and things like that. So that's what I hope to do with my kids. It's what, one of the things that I think is very important is to not get caught up in what you think is important, because your kid might like something different. So just kind of find out what that niche is, find out what their interests are, and instill the importance of hard work and work ethic in whatever field they choose. And I think if you do that, then you're going to develop a lot of good work habits. You're going to develop a passion for a subject, whatever it may be, like I said. Then that's what's going to allow for your child to excel at that thing, is keep things in the proper perspective and not let things get blown up and seem like they're more important than they are.
Yeah, and basically what you're saying is just allow your kids to fall in love with the game, because if the older you get and the more you play this game, if you don't love baseball in college, I promise you, you're going to have a miserable college baseball experience. You got to love it. The 6 a.m. workouts and the practices all day, the study halls, it's a grind. But hey, Rook, thank you for coming on the show, man. It's always great to hear from you. Can't wait to see where you are this year. Whenever we do get picked back up, whatever day that will come. Happy Easter, man. Sunday's Easter. Hope you have a great Easter weekend, man.
Everybody listening or watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy Easter to everybody out there. Rook, thank you for coming on the show. We'll catch up with you soon, man. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely.
In insurance, it's our job to handle storms. And though coronavirus is a storm different than most, the agents, adjusters, and employees at Farm Bureau Insurance stand ready to extend a hand, love our neighbors, and work earnestly to serve our customers and communities. Our mission hasn't changed, so our work does not stop. If you need us, call your local agent, use the claims hotline, or visit us online. Be safe, stay healthy, keep Mississippi strong, and go with the home team.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Brent Rooker, one of the most intelligent baseball players I've ever played with. It's always fun to listen to him break down the game from each level: high school, college, minor leagues, and big league spring training, USA baseball, whatever it may be. It's always fun to hear his side of things. I'd like to thank our two sponsors, Farm Bureau Insurance, for first off allowing me to start this show and do something fun during my downtime during all this. And Fuse.cloud. Go to them for all of your technology needs. If you have anything technology questions wise, please be sure to reach out to them. They're an amazing Mississippi company just like Farm Bureau. So for all your insurance and technology needs, please be sure to go to Farm Bureau and Fuse.cloud. Next week on the show, we will be having a dear friend of mine who I have grown up with, and when I say it is the most unique success story, you could even say underdog story, it is. Gardner Minshew, who is from Rankin County and had the most bizarre high school and college turnover experience ever. This man went to Troy, Northwest Community College, ECU, Washington State, to find himself as an NFL starting quarterback, and honestly having a cult following because of how unique and genuine he is. What you see on camera with Gardner is exactly what you see when you're sitting around a bonfire with your boys in the backyard in Rankin County. So I cannot wait for you guys to hear more of a homegrown story here with two guys from Rankin County just talking it over. Gardner will be the first in-person interview we've had on the show, so I can't wait for that. For all the Wazoo faithful out there in the Northwest, it's going to be good to have him back on and talk about where this mustache started from a little bit and the hard work he put in, because he is one of the hardest workers I know. So can't wait to have Gardner on the show. It's going to be special, so please be sure to tune in next week while I have Gardner Minshew, the man, the myth, the mustache. See you next week.